Hi, welcome to Thought of the Week by Rodney Randers from Your Truth Life Coaching. The thought of the week is this: life is happening for you and not to you. Now that is a phrase that's coined by Tony Robbins, and I can highly recommend him for some ideas about doing life well. But what does that mean, life is happening for you and not to you? I want to give you a story of mine, and I'm standing here today because I wanted to show you this picture. This picture is very dear to me because it was in a house I was building, or I had built back in South Africa. Now in South Africa I was a builder and I had a fairly big business, and I had pulled all my resources together and built this particular complex. And there were some local people that had to sign off this construction, and they came to me and said, you got to do some certain changes and then we'll sign it off. I did those changes. And they came back and said, look, actually it doesn't matter what you do, but we're never going to sign off these buildings. And basically right there and then they put a nail in the coffin for me, and that was the end of my business. And you can imagine I was rather annoyed and frustrated. Anyway, the process followed, and the business was closed and the bank repossessed our assets, and one of those assets was a particular car I used to drive. And I used to drive this car often to my mum's place on a Sunday and park in a particular place and visit her. And her boyfriend at the time had the same car, different color, but same car. Anyway, we no longer had this car because it had been repossessed, and he was parked in this particular spot and came out to get his car. And they came to steal the car and actually shot him dead and took the car. Now all of a sudden I had to evaluate my situation and go, well, that action by that chap to not give him my paperwork and to effectively make me lose my assets may have been the very act that saved my life. And now all of a sudden I've gone from an angry person who's mad at this man for taking everything away from me to being very pleased about this man who effectively may have saved my life. Isn't it funny how if we allow a story to play out long enough and allow us to explore the benefits that come from what seemingly is tragic and terrible, that often we find some good. Life is happening for you and not to you. I want to encourage you this week, as you evaluate the things that are going wrong, the things that are happening to you, to take a moment and say, how could this possibly be happening for me? Be creative. Allow yourself to be crazy. Explore some ideas that are sort of out of the box and left field. And if you can't find an answer, allow yourself some time to discover the truth. I believe no matter what bad thing happened in my past, when I've allowed it enough time and given it enough time, and always looked earnestly for the positive that would come out of it, I've always found that positive. And I believe you will find that positive too. I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to chatting some more in the next week. Look for those things that are working for you and not to you in this coming week. Thank you and have a good day.